but I wanted to set myself a goal or have a challenge or milestone, whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. And that was, when this bike needs fuel, you're going to go fill it up at the servo. And, you know, tried to come up with a plan to mitigate some of the risk, and I had MVR2 doing a rolling roadblock behind me in a car to give me a bit of confidence. Waited till the evening so it was nice and quiet. Took the back road there under the cover of darkness. No, it wasn't under the cover of darkness, it was still daylight but no traffic, that kind of thing. And man, I was so bad, but it was nerve-wracking, but it was a great experience, because even though I almost came off on the first roundabout because I had target fixation and I wasn't turning, and I was like, oh no, I'm coming off here. Come on, bro, I'm all about the tradies. Come on, buddy, no worries, bro. Man, I'd like to ride that, you know. I always look at those and think, man, that looks fun to ride on mower. It's like a motorbike, cuts grass. Anyway, what was I saying? So I got NVR2 to do a rolling roadblock. Oh yeah, so I almost, first roundabout, almost can't like come off the side of the road because I've like totally forgotten what on earth I was doing. Target fixating on the side of the road instead of looking where I needed to, or looking where I was going, so that look with your head and your body or your bike will follow. All this kind of stuff they teach you, or I was watching your videos and I've been practicing, but you just forget because you get nervous. Part of it as well is like, so going back to the practice side of things, that's part of it as well. Is that you practice stuff, you might practice 100 times, 1,000 times, but in that kind of mellow, chilled out environment of the housing estate or your car park where you're doing, wherever you're doing it, it's not the same as when you're under that pressure of being in a new environment or heavy traffic or whatever it is. And for me, that was the open road. Just got splattered. Can't see that on camera, but good fly on my visor now. Oh well. Yeah. So you have to, I guess it's a good thing to introduce that stuff bit by bit, you know. I did have another guy at work who rode bikes, and he was like, oh man, when you get the bike, just commute every day, just commute everywhere, you know. And I was like, yeah, that was good for him, but that wasn't really my style, kind of thing, partly because I had so much gear to take. But anyway, everyone's got their own methods. Everyone's got their own methods. And man, I'm really taking a long time to say this story. Okay, let's get this story done. So my point is that you can practice, and that's good. Okay, so my point is you can practice in a quiet, semi-controlled environment to make things easier, but at some point you're gonna have to up the ante and put yourself in positions, or you're just going to be forced into positions where you're then going to have to do those skills under pressure. So there's me, even with my rolling roadblock behind me. Here's me just not riding how I'd been riding for the last few weeks or month or whatever it was, because you don't use up much fuel when you're doing these slow speed maneuvers, because everything's around 15 kilometers an hour. I don't know what that is in American. Let's say 100. No, just joking. I think 15 was, I don't know, around 5 or 10 miles per hour. It's slow, so you're not going to use up as much fuel. Same as an electric bike. If you're doing those slow speed maneuvers, you can do that a lot. You're not going to have to charge it. It's when you start going quicker, you're, you know, putting the engine or the motor or whatever it is under more load or strain, or just getting it to work harder, so it needs more fuel to do that. Anyway, man, I'm still not saying this story. Right, okay, get the story done. Okay, so got my rolling roadblock. I'm driving like I'd never ridden a bike before, which is why I had the rolling roadblock and why I picked a quiet time of day, and all this kind of stuff. And to be frank, I probably wouldn't have done it unless I had to, but covered that already. And I'm driving along, and I was, you know, I was nervous about getting fuel because I'd never fueled a bike up before at the servo. Never used a petrol pump to do a bike. Yeah, I'd done a car, I'd done trucks, I'd done all kinds of stuff, but not a bike. I had practice taking the fuel cap off the bike, so I'd done a little bit of practice there. But when I got there, I was already like, nerves were jangling because of the ride and not being very good riding and making all these mistakes and that kind of stuff. But I got there without any major issues. And then I'm trying to get the bike into neutral, get the kickstand down, you know, trying to figure out what fuel to put in, trying to remember what the service manager had said and what it said in the manual, that kind of stuff. And then you're trying to get the fuel in there, and you know, it's a lot. And that's okay. Everybody's got their first time fueling up a bike or a car. I had that on a day at work once when I drove a tipper truck and had to go put diesel in it, and I couldn't get the cap either on or off, and the person inside was looking at me going like, what is this person doing? But it just happens sometimes, you know, but it comes with practice. Okay, and I got the bike fueled up. I didn't fill it up all the way because that's another thing on this bike that's a bit tricky, is getting it to the top, right up to the top, to the rim. Is it the brim or the rim? Anyway, that took a bit of practice actually to get a full tank, because it was annoying to fuel up and then have a bar on the screen here saying, nah mate, you don't know what you're doing. But it's just part of it, and it's all good because I got the fuel in the bike, I paid for the stuff, I rode back. Oh, I can tell I'm back on Bulletega Road, it's so bumpy. Oh.